Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we are going to make a pretty arrangement in this crown. So this crown is not really meant for flowers, but if you know anything about me, you know that I absolutely love working with containers that aren't necessarily meant for flowers. This is actually a piece that's supposed to hang on the wall, I believe. So it looks like a crown on the front side, but around back it's actually flat so you could hang it on a wall. Now what we've done is we've taken a long low design bowl. This is just a green design bowl we bought from our wholesaler. I've added fresh floral foam. I have taped the foam into the container, and then how I made it fit into this crown, this is a piece of wood, about a 2x4. Really not even that much. It's a small piece of wood, so it's kind of got a ledge. What we did was we took a piece of green styrofoam, taped it to this container, so it's sitting down right beside this container, and then we were able to set this design bowl right on top of that foam and the edge, so we could tape it all together. So it's going to sit right on a table. Now what we're going to do is we're going to design flowers in this foam that look like they're pouring out of the crown. I'm going to start from the back, and the reason I'm starting from the back is because I need to insert some hydrangeas low so that it's going to cover up any of my mechanics. So I'm going to take white hydrangeas, I'm going to cut them at an angle. I'm going to dip them in Quick Dip, and I'm going to count to about 7. Quick Dip is a hydrating solution that helps keep these hydrangeas hydrated. And then I am going to very carefully, I'm going to cut that a little shorter, I think. I'm going to try to very carefully tuck those hydrangeas right into that foam. Now the reason I need hydrangeas in there is so that they will cover that green design bowl that's low. I don't know if you can see through that little hole here, but we're trying to camouflage that bowl. So I'm going to take these hydrangeas, remove any of the greenery. I am just tucking them right into that floral foam. So I will tell you, I have never done an arrangement like this, but it's always fun to do something different, isn't it? And it's fun to use containers that were not necessarily meant for flowers. So the wonderful part about this design bowl is it does hold water, and so she will be able to add water from the back side of the arrangement. Okay. So I have hydrangeas tucked in. I'm going to take a couple more and tuck them right here on top. Now I am not worried about finishing the back side of this arrangement yet. I will certainly finish it before she picks this up, but I'm not worried about the back side yet. We're going to try to get the front side really beautiful, and we will finish off the back side. All right, one more hydrangea. We're going to tuck that in. Cut that stem at an angle. Put some Quick Dip. Okay. So I tucked it right in. I'm going to turn around our container. And now you can see, I don't know how well you can see, but you can see how our hydrangeas are just filling in some space. It's basically just to help me camouflage all of that green that's down, that you can see down in all of these individual little holes there. So there are our hydrangeas. Next we're going to come in with, let's see what's next. Let's do our stock. Let's give us some height with our stock. So I have white stock. Now our client asked that we use blush and white flowers. So we're going to use some white stock. And I am just cutting that stock at an angle and tucking it right down into that floral foam. Now, I know that if you've seen me design, you know I am one who really likes to use greenery. Now with this arrangement, she is not interested in a whole lot of greenery. So the reason I am starting with flowers is because I didn't want to go overboard with foliage. Now when I'm using these flowers, I don't want to take away from the ornateness of our crown. I want the crown to certainly be the focal point. So I am just using these bells of Ireland. I mean, this is not a bells of Ireland, this white stock. And we're just giving it some height. Get it short enough. Okay, so there are our stems of white stock. Next we are going to come in with, let's see, some white gerbera daisies. So I have some beautiful white gerberas and they have dark centers. All right, so there are our gerberas. So you can see I'm kind of having to work into those hydrangeas, but that's completely okay. Okay, so there are our gerbera daisies, just kind of fun and whimsical. Next we will come in with, we have some pink roses, some pink spray roses. Our pink roses are Mondale roses. So they're a pretty blush colored rose. So I am going to grab some wire and I'm going to wire these roses. Now I'm wiring each of these roses. I just like to wire roses. I just think it makes them last longer. And I'm just making sure that they're inserted into the foam. This container is a little different because I'm having to work around the crown, and so that's why you have to kind of be careful and make sure that each flower goes into the foam. These Mondale roses have beautiful foliage. So if it's not a problem to leave the foliage, go ahead and leave some of that pretty foliage on. It's so pretty. And so don't waste that greenery. Go ahead and leave it on those flowers. So I'm also working behind the crown because I'm able to insert flowers in the back of that foam. And so it's working out perfectly that I can work behind the crown also. You can see it's taken me just a little bit of time to make sure that I'm hitting, there we go, that foam. We've got to make sure that we hit the foam, so it's going to, all of our flowers are going to have water. So I really like Mondale, the variety of rose. The variety Mondale comes in both a creamy white and it comes in this pretty blush pink. The reason I like this rose is it is one of the hardiest roses I have ever worked with. In the past, for Valentine's Day, the only white rose that I will order are Mondale, and the only pink roses that I would order are Mondale. Now the reason is because you can always, just about always guarantee that a Mondale is going to be hardy and pretty. They open pretty, they've got a large petal count, and so they just are always really, really nice roses. Now this year I changed it up a little bit when I placed my order for Valentine's Day, and I did not order the pink Mondale. Now I didn't order the pink Mondale because they're just so pale. They just don't make the statement that I wanted the pink roses to make. So I chose to go with more of a hot pink rose this year, but I'm definitely using the white Mondale as my white rose. But the pink, for Valentine's Day, I've never had any issues whatsoever with the pink or the white variety. So I'm going to pull this out. He's not going in as well as I want to. I'm going to cut his stem one more time. There, and he's tucking in a little deeper. I didn't want him to take over those Gerberas. Okay, so this arrangement so far has white Gerberas, white hydrangeas, white stock, pink Mondale roses. Next, we're going to come in with some pretty white oriental lilies. So these oriental lilies are so pretty. Now they're not real open. That's okay. This is actually going to be used for a birthday, for a sweet little girl's birthday. And so she is the princess, and that's why they're using a crown. How fun is that? So we're going to take these oriental lilies. I'm going to remove a little bit of this foliage because it's just a little overwhelming. And I am going to tuck some of these oriental lilies into this arrangement. Let's see. I want to not take away from the fact that it's a crown. And I'm scared if we get too much, I might hold off using the lilies for a minute. I don't want to, I'm scared if we get too big on these flowers, we're not going to see the crown. And that is not what I want. I want to see that crown. I removed a piece of that foliage because it was covering up my gerbera. I'm going to hold off on the lilies for a second. Let's come in with some white tulips. So I have some really pretty white tulips, and I thought we would use these. I don't think these are going to take away. They're a little delicate, and I think they'll give us a little whimsy, but I'm worried about those lilies being so large and taking away from the fact that we're a crown. And the crown is important. So I don't want to take away. The whole point of using this container is so that we can see the crown, right? So I'm taking these tulips. Now the wonderful part about a tulip is they continue to grow even after they're cut. So they're going to continue to grow and give us a little bit of whimsy after they're cut. I almost wonder though, I may pull a Gerbera daisy, and what if we tuck this pretty lily there? Let's see. So I'm going to use these snips instead of my knife, and the reason I'm using snips is I'm afraid I'm going to pop this head off of that lily. So I'm going to cut that with snips. And so it just takes a little bit sometimes when you're using a container like this that has walls or restrictions. Let's see. Okay. There are our lilies kind of there in the front. That's kind of pretty. I don't mind that at all. I can still use this Gerbera in another place if I want to, or I can just, I think we could tuck him over here, couldn't we?
I think you're coming at it to go.
Okay, so there's a couple of lilies. Here's another short stem. The only thing is it's having to go pretty deep to hit that oasis or that fresh floral foam. And I don't have a home for that, so I'm gonna stick him over here. Okay, so I got a couple of focal lilies there. We still have white tulips. I love the tulips. I think they're so springy and so pretty. Okay, so we have tulips, we have roses, we have that pretty lily. I got him tucked in. I think he's gonna look nice there. I don't know if I would mind tucking one a little taller in that arrangement. I am gonna remove the foliage because I think the foliage is kind of taking away, and it's going to slim this flower up just a little bit. So I think I'm gonna tuck him a little higher in this arrangement. So I'm cutting that stem at an angle, and I am going to work him right down into that fresh floral foam and just tuck him right in. And I don't feel like he's gonna take away, and it kind of leaves a line right there in the center. Now the last flower I believe that I'm gonna put in before we add foliage is I am going to add some pink spray roses. So these spray roses really came here more of a baby girl pink. They weren't quite as soft as I needed them to be. So we took some white floral paint and I just hit them with just a dab of white floral paint just to soften them up just a little bit. I'm gonna I have one pink rose left. Where should this little guy go? I can nestled him right in there in the front. Okay, next we're gonna add just a few of these pretty pale pink spray roses. Again, I just took some white floral paint. Now, when you're painting flowers, always remember to use actual paint that's made for fresh flowers. There is something called Just for Flowers flower paint. It is made specifically for flowers and will keep them, it won't kill them. If you use paint that you get from the hardware store, it's heavy with chemicals and heavy with other things. It's not made specifically for flowers and can kill them. So always be aware to use flowers that are made specifically, paint that's made specifically for flowers, okay? All right, I have just about got as many flowers as I think it needs. Okay. So there is our arrangement in our crown. Next, what I'm going to do to finish this arrangement is I'm going to take some eucalyptus and I'm going to soften it with the eucalyptus so it's not just flowers. This is a silver dollar eucalyptus that we really like to use, and so I think that this will be perfect to soften the edges of this container. Let's see if I can figure it out. Now it may be something that I'm going to have to work with a little bit. Now this right here is the exact reason I do not like to add my greenery last, is because you have to find a place to tuck it in, and that kind of drives me crazy, and you have to work hard to get it in there. The problem with this container though is that I'm working with a container that's abnormal to me. It's not something that I've ever used before, and so I was going to have to figure it out anyway. But this right here is the exact reason I've never really loved to add greenery last. I always feel like you have to work too hard to add your greenery. Also, when you add greenery first, you don't have to use quite as many flowers. I like the softness though of this eucalyptus. It kind of softens the edges a little bit. It doesn't look just like a blob of flowers. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about how we put this together or any questions about the flower shop, don't hesitate to ask. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel, and if you will be on the lookout, we are going to start doing live videos each day. So be sure to check us out there. Guys, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you real soon. Thank you.